Hello, friends. This is Marianne Goldweber, spiritual teacher, professional medium, and the owner of a Village Personal and Spiritual Development Center, coming to you live tonight, incognito. They say all heroes don't wear capes. I love you guys. Anyway, here I am. Tonight we're going to talk about the power of a spiritual life and how to get in the flow. So thanks for joining me. I'm usually wait for everybody to get on. Oh my God, no, really, these are so much fun. I'm going to ride around with these in the car. These are my sunglasses. What do you think? I have a couple other pairs too. I swear, guys, I think I'm losing it. I think the universe keeps me around for comic relief. Hi, Tina. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm so grateful for you. I actually have a whole basket of these, so, you know, when I'm feeling wise, I put on my Yoda glasses. Do or do not. Anyway. Oh. And when I'm feeling fun and frisky, I wear my unicorn glasses. Look, I even have a horn. I think I'm feeling Batman today. I got these at Drug Mart. I'm going to start driving around with those. That'll keep them guessing. Hi, Mary. So good to see you guys. Yeah, Drug Mart. Oh my God, they had all different kinds. Oh, sometimes you just got to have a sense of humor. It's, comic relief. Laughing is a purge too. Crying isn't the only purge. Laughing is another one. So we want to be able to laugh at what's going on in our world sometimes. So, anyway, thanks for joining me. So, the topic tonight is actually about having a spiritual life and how to get in the flow of that. So, if you guys go back, it takes time, but I'm uploading all of these videos from the past archives into YouTube. So if you go back, you can see the one that I talked about, reciprocality, and how the universe operates. And so part of the spiritual life is these tools that I'm trying to give you guys as we go. And this is why coaching or coming to classes gives you these tools one at a time and tells you how to use them. But the most important part is understanding why we're here as human beings in this life. We're actually spiritual beings. We're divine beings who are coming into a new experience. And each one of us is on a secret mission. You're planted where you're at. I'm planted where I'm at. All of the experiences that I've received in my life have been really teachers and lessons to help me not only understand myself, but to learn about the world around me. The challenge that we face is that most people have led very sheltered lives by systems. Okay, now I was born under all kinds of different systems, and we all were, and so systems like family, there's rules and there's dynamics in every family. They're not all the same. Um, then my family, there were different cultural issues. So I come from immigrant people, and so they brought a lot of cultural systems with them, even though they're living in this country. And so there were rules with that, okay? And because we're talking about first and second generation here, okay? So, coming from those countries, they had not, adapted to the systems that were going on here. But they did quickly. A couple generations in, and it was different. Then there's religious. Okay, now not everybody's born under a religious system. In my family and where I lived, it was predominantly Catholic. Okay, German, Irish, Catholic. Okay, and then some immigrants, especially from Eastern Europe, are other types of Christianity, like Russian or Roman Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox. There's Greek Orthodox. There's Byzantine Catholic. There's so many different systems, but usually you practice whatever your family practiced. So there was that system. Then there's rules about gender. Okay, and and so there were boy rules and there were girl rules, and you know then society was another system that enforced some of these as well. So all of these systems had perspectives about what is usual and customary for boys and what's usual and customary for girls. And, uh, again, back when I was a kid, there was nothing else. There was no, if you were anything other than that, you had to comply or hide. Okay, it was that simple. And so anyway, so anytime that we're oppressing our natural tendencies, it's going to come out regardless. And so these systems usually used some type of uh, rules or punishment or fear to keep people in compliance with those. And same thing goes with, societal, like governments, there's rules and all of those things, and there's, punishments if you don't comply. But what I learned early on is some of these rules, and all the rules here in this human world, are actually man made. These are not God's rules. Okay, these are not the universe's rules. These are man made rules about these things. And I learned very early on that there were rules that protected people, and then there were rules that oppressed people. Okay, because the rules only applied to certain people and not to all the people. Or the people who made the rules broke the rules but expected you to be enforce the rules on you. So this, on my little, neurospicy brain, did not compute. And I had a very hard time um, complying with that. It felt very much against my own internal knowing that this is wrong or this is not right. And so, again, then if you don't comply, there's all kinds of repercussions for that. You become ostracized, you can get shunned, you can get beat into submission. There's all kinds of things that don't necessarily want people to evolve or be, um, what's the word? They don't want you to be autonomous. So not all cultures and places do that. Their indigenous cultures did not operate that way. And again, this is why these systems that were brought to this country didn't like the freedom that comes with, uh, those different spiritual understandings in indigenous cultures and the way they lived. And so, again, um, we're having a giant awakening. Okay. Now, what I really want to talk about tonight is understanding why we're here. Okay, so we're all spiritual beings who took a secret mission and got planted where you're at to learn the learn about that, remove the things that don't work or fit, and we're here to create significant change in these systems because they've not worked for a very long time, and because of that awakening that we have, and again, our apathy, people, took a lot of things for granted, uh, and we're in a bad situation right now. But so the spirit. So we're not going to talk about that. Okay, what I'm going to talk about is the purpose of being a spiritual being in this human life is to learn, to teach, and to leave this world better than we found it. And this has been going on for generations. Some people have experienced the same, generational dysfunction, but there are also every generation hopefully does a little better than the last. I like to think that I did it better than my parents did, even though I'm a lot like them, and I learned from bad examples of certain things. I also had some really good examples of and wisdom. They told me a lot of wisdom, but they didn't always apply it themselves. And so, what are we learning from that? As a parent, okay, as a person, I realized that that I didn't want to be hypocritical, and um, so I uh, began this process of peeling off this human conditioning and really just began to trust and to rely on the spiritual life and understanding of what that actually looks like. So doing the universe's work or doing God's work is I had to develop a relationship with my God of my understanding, and peel off all the things that were dysfunctional that really separated me from God. There were a lot of things that told me that God was vengeful and God was hurtful, and that if we didn't do the right thing, that you would be punished. But that actually isn't how it works, okay? So I have been for the last, I don't know, over 30 years, guys, um, having direct and intimate conversations with things on the other side, from guides to understanding angels and angelic presence, discernment of spirit, they call it. Okay, this is in Christian concepts, this is considered gifts of the Holy Spirit. Okay, everybody can be imbued with these things, but we all have a divine connection. We were born with this like hotline. Okay, and again, this is why they don't want you trusting your own knowing. Um, and we all have free will to, we were born with free will, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to use your free will or exert your free will. These systems really don't encourage that free thinking thing. So, because it's contrary to what they're teaching you. And so, again, once I peeled off a lot of this human misunderstanding that I was taught by humans who misunderstood, even though their intentions may have been good, it wasn't making life or the world better. And so I really agreed with the universe to trust it. Okay, trust is built. I had a very bad relationship with the word God. Okay, um, and same with the with Jesus. Okay, because a lot of things were done in the name of that were cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, and I knew in my heart and in my soul that that is not what that was. So I started peeling off all this stuff and this misinformation that I had received, and there was a lot of emotional healing that had to go with that. And this is why, in the work I do as a spiritual teacher, it's not to give you answers. The universe doesn't just give me answers, guys. They give me other ways to look at it, and then I can choose and decide what I want to experience, either in a lesser or greater way. They can offer us suggestions. And so what I try to do is I try to connect people to that inner knowing, but we can't hear it because it's being it's like being buried by this other chatter that goes on in our world. And so learning how to be still. So all the things that I'm trying to teach you are how to get into the spiritual life. Now, once we get into that flow, once we get into that understanding ourselves and understanding why the world and other people do what they do, okay, I'm not surprised. Okay, I have been through my own bag of stuff. I've introspected. I have looked at myself. I've taken ownership for my ignorance. I've also learned to educate myself, to hold myself accountable to doing the higher and better thing, and work through a lot of those issues. So I'm not perfect. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to evolve and to level up and to continually grow and change and learn. But two, the sad thing that we're facing here is that people have been so removed from that divinity by some of these other systems that people don't know how to build a relationship with that divine thing without some kind of intermediary. So I'm not here to make you dependent on me to connect with that. I'm here to empower you to know how the universe works and how to get into that divine flow for yourself. Now, this is going to take time, guys, to peel off some of the misinformation you've received, some of the hurtful things that have been done to us in all these systems. But it's kind of like peeling off all this stuff to find out who we are authentically. And so, again, suffering is something we're taught, okay? Because, and then, again, if you don't comply and you deny that inner knowing long enough, it can make you sick. It can make you mentally ill. It can cause depression. It can cause anxiety. It can cause you to question your own knowing. And so then they're like, well, there's something wrong with you if you're not complying and you're depressed and you're anxious. Well, depression is lack of action and anxiety is lack of control. Well, we're not allowed to control anything. We have to just, comply. And so, yes, that can cause a lot of mental illness because, you're being told, gaslit, and told one thing, and your inner knowing is telling you, no, no, this is wrong, this isn't working. But, a lot of times people don't feel empowered, or they're so insecure and so beat down that they don't know where to go and who to trust because, there's no trustworthy sources. So this is why it takes a village. And this is why, part of the work I do is not just helping you hear the message from our loved ones, guides, ancestors, angels, and all the things that love us on the other side. I'm here to empower you to take control of your life and the things that we have made happen or agreed to in our life and work through the healing that comes with working through that. And so giving you tools of understanding and discernment and then leading you to resources that can help you, especially when some of this stuff is really bad. So, like, I'm not a doctor, okay? I know a lot about stuff, okay, but I'm no doctor. And although I understand the complications of dysfunction and abuse and neglect and what that does to the brain and being oppressed, okay, I am not a mental health professional. But, self-help can only get you so far, okay? And there are times where your brain has become so dysfunctional that it needs a programmer, okay? It needs somebody to help reprogram it or deprogram it. And that's where therapy comes in. There's all kinds of different kinds of therapy now. It's not a taboo topic like it used to be. See, even that, asking for help or saying that you were, an alcoholic or that you were had mental, that you were depressed, that got you stigmatized, and you could lose your job. And so, this is why people learn to fake it till they make it and start using mother's little helpers or some anesthetic to numb themselves from the truth because there's no way to break these systems or to not comply and without being judged or being you lose your job or lose your family or lose your house or really this is a big deal. So the spiritual thing is always calling us to do the higher thing. So all of this stuff takes effort because we're in the physical world, and the human physical world actually is concrete. It's very heavy. It pulls, it's like gravity. It holds you down. And the spiritual aspect of who we are is up here. Okay, so it's light and it's bright and it's it's love and it's peace and it's all these wonderful things that we were born with originally. And then we were conditioned away from that perfection by these systems. And so as we awaken to these things, it's not always pleasant because we've been in this weird denial for a long time, And just because you didn't realize it was going on doesn't mean it wasn't happening. Okay. And it's fascinating, especially when you look at the holistic process of what happens to the physical body, what happens to the emotional body, and then this poor spiritual body that we've neglected along the way, that's always been trying to guide us and help us. But, sometimes this human stuff's just so messed up that we need other humans to help, guide us through and get through that. So that's kind of where I come in, is I'm a guide. I'm a teacher, I'm a guide. I'm here to help you navigate to all the right things that are going to get you in balance. You know, that's the goal. So now that we're all awakening, um, it starts a grief process. Okay, denial. Denial is a protective mechanism that your brain does to protect you from pain. But sometimes things are so cataclysmic that it knocks you out of this illusion of denial, and it's like somebody just comes in and flicks on the light. Um, and again, it's painful initially because you realize that you've been asleep for a while and that you didn't realize that these things were going on. And the harder part is a lot of people are awakening now and realizing this stuff has been going on their whole life. And it's unraveling their entire belief structure. So again, we have a very serious dysfunctional situation going on, where people have, there are people that are highly dependent on the system and completely and utterly are following along. And then for those of us that are waking up and we're going, God, what is wrong with these people? Okay, well, we were those people. We've been asleep. Okay, I've been asleep. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was, I succumbed to some of these systems, and because it was easier, okay. And when I couldn't really comply, and it was so against my nature, I started anesthetizing myself as well. Okay, there's a lot of things you can use besides drugs and alcohol too, guys. There's a lot of, there's a lot of things that have been peddled to us to keep us numb from the truth. And so that's kind of where we're at. Okay, so so I think of it like, what have we used that numbs us to what's really going on? It's a distraction or diversion, because it's a lot of work. It's to get accountable and to start stepping up and doing the next right thing. And so this system in this country, is about making money. Okay, capitalism. And so, they've been peddling stuff to keep people, distracted, numb, um, you know, and you can't eat that, okay? And they've been making a lot of money off people doing that. So the spiritual thing is the spiritual life is built on faith, okay, which is trust without evidence. And so the first thing we have to do is first learn to trust ourselves and understand who we are, why we do what we do, and how to get to a place of accountability. Um, and during that process of of turning our, you know, being willing to do it a different way or to listen to other wisdoms, um, this higher inner voice starts to really get louder and start guiding you. But we have to kind of work through some of that grief and emotional stuff in order to hear that. So again, when I'm working with you, whether it's in a group, whether it's in a workshop, whether it's in a one-on-one session, I will initially channel that stage crew that's with you all the time, okay? Except I've learned to listen and translate it into language for you. But that's a temporary thing. I'm not here to tell you how to, I'm not here to keep you dependent on me either, okay? Because there are people that will keep you dependent on them on purpose, keep you sick, okay, or keep you in need, just to keep, getting money from you or getting something from you. And so they don't want you well because then you won't come back. And it was so funny because Becca used to say, Marianne, you're working your way out of a job. So, guys, I'm here to clear up the static temporarily, introduce you to your helpers and guides and such on the other side, give you spiritual tools of understanding how to work through and navigate this human crap that we've created, and then finding your own feet being empowered to just start making changes in not only your own life, but that actually starts to generate a ripple in everyone and everything around you. So, so the spiritual life and getting in that flow rises above the chaos and all the systems that we've been taught. And now you're starting to see what absolute and utter bullshit that you have agreed to some in your life early on, and how dysfunctional it is. It's really fascinating when you can stand objectively to it and realize that I used to be part of that. I used to be part of that system. Now, the universe is trying to awaken a lot of people simultaneously, okay? And the first thing that you do when you first awaken is you're like, oh my God, this is really a mess. How did it get like this? And trying to find somebody to blame for it. Well, okay, there's not one person. We've all contributed on some level. And so again, now begins the cleanup. Okay, now begins I don't know what I'm doing, but I certainly need help. Okay, so that's where we either reach out to somebody else or we reach out to, I've been on my knees, guys, and I've said, Dear Lord, I don't know what the hell this is about, but I need your help, you know. And so that willingness to do that kind of starts to get us in that flow. And then you start to see that when you stop subscribing to some of this illusionary fear and chaos that's around us, we start seeing new opportunities and new people and new situations start to emerge. And then the more confident we get spiritually, the easier it is to navigate and work around some of this human stuff. You're not going to fix a lot of this human stuff by contributing to it. So you have to cut it off. It's like going it's like I'm not going to drink that anymore. I'm not going to take that anymore. It doesn't make me better. It doesn't make me, it's really crippling me to because again, the universe is light and bright and it takes effort to reach it, and we can't do that if we're still addicted to the, you know, chaos, drama and suffering in the world. So again, this huge awakening is going on. And when you can come from this spiritual place, there's nothing to fear because I know, just like within my own awakening, that it is initially painful to have these awarenesses. So when I'm watching other people have this, I know it's an important part of the process. Okay? So I can hold the light up for you. I can give you the tools and show you how to navigate it. But until people actually, it gets painful enough, they're not going to do it. And so if one of us awakens, then there's two of us, then there's eight of us, then there's, so we're not subscribing to this, so it can't exist. It can't exist if we don't contribute to it. So this is a question that I want you guys to ask yourself. As spiritual beings, you know, I don't need I'm not in need of a lot of things anymore because again, the stuff don't make you happy, the relationship doesn't make you happy, having children doesn't make you happy. And that's the problem is that we're looking for other things to make us happy when we don't know how to be joyful without without those things, and then it starts attracting the right things. So happiness is really outside you, whereas joy is an actual core state. So anything that is not of joy, which is misery and suffering and those things, is is covering that up. So as you start to peel back all these things and you start getting detoxed from the need of it, which is based in fear, actually, and you come from this place of faith, and it has you making better choices, and it has you discerning things before you accept them into your life. And it takes time, okay? It takes time to do this, but it doesn't take long. So when I was awakening, and I joke about this all the time, when I awakened, there weren't a lot of trustworthy spiritual tools or resources around me, but all the right things were starting to navigate into my life. I did have some very wonderful spiritual people who showed me that there was this life that I could have and that having faith isn't just religion. Um, and so and again, I was always a student of spiritual stuff, but I'd never really um, met people who were in that lifestyle. And so I'm very grateful to these people. And I talk about them all the time when I'm teaching, especially. But when I awakened, I really did, I mean, truly started having conversations with the other side. There was not a lot of people I could trust to tell about that. So I joke about my guide, who's comes to me as like this 7 foot Iroquois Indian, and two books, uh, which uh, were by Jamie Sams. And those two books and that those indigenous teachings came to me and helped me unravel the the misinformation and lies about myself and about the world and those around me. And it was a process. It took a while, but it didn't take long. It took a long time because I created a mess, and it took a long time to clean up. But with every time I took out the trash, a new beautiful thing, it created room for new things to appear in my life. And now there's more resources. So waking up, there's so many more resources than there were, for people who are in that process of awakening. And so, like I said, mental health has come a lot further. Medicine has come a lot further. The spiritual path that I walk has come much further. There's other modalities now that help with navigating, healing this body, healing this mind, and then nurturing the spirit. And so having the spiritual life makes room for bigger, better, brighter, nicer, wonderful things to happen. But the problem is it takes effort. It takes effort because this other stuff is pulling you down. So you literally have to reach for it. You have to work for that light because everything around you does not want you to awaken. It doesn't want us to awaken. It wants us to go back to using. It wants us to go back to, being placated with, more physical shit. How much useless crap can you possibly buy? How much money are we wasting because we're not cooking our own food or we're not making our, we're waiting, having somebody deliver our groceries to our house. We've become very, dependent and um, unaccountable to our own self-care, our own needs. And so we become dependent on some of these systems to do these things for us, but it's going to take effort, okay? And it takes effort to remain peaceful amidst the chaos. You don't just get peace, you have to work for peace. And so now, as we're looking, I did this in my own life. I had villains in my play, I had dictators, I had people telling me that I was crazy and that I was not worthy and whatever, and I did it anyway, okay? And I tell you, if it wasn't for my faith in my kid, I probably wouldn't have, okay? And this is why we need other people. There wasn't a village, so I was told I was supposed to create one. So here we are. Welcome to the village. One person at a time. Some people come and stay, some people come and go, but we've all brought each other further and further on this road. Well, now I've been doing it a long time. And now we've reached a pinnacle time in our world where awakening is if you're staying asleep at this point, it's a choice. Okay? Because there's a lot of people awakening and they're in all these processes of grief. And it's very powerful, uh, you know, but we have to help each other awaken and help each other be the solution. So we need to cheer each other on. We need to hold each other up. But we cannot contribute anymore. So the bigger thing that spirituality does is it rides above this, and I don't give it energy. Okay, and there's lots of ways to give the negative thing energy because you're like, did you know this is happening? Okay, guys, just so you know, this has been going on my whole life. Okay, I'm not new to this party. Okay, there have been predators, there have been all these things my whole life. I'm sorry this is new to you, but this is not new to me. Okay, and yes, I understand that, but we do not have the luxury of, blaming the system that we willingly contributed to. Okay, so this is, so again, that's a personal awakening, and that's only people can own their side of the road and how they contributed to their own suffering. because blame is lack of ownership. Okay. And again, enough people were asleep and let this happen. Apathy. They didn't care because it wasn't affecting them. Okay. And so they didn't, they became complacent. They're not educated. They didn't keep up with what's going on. And it's a generational thing, guys. This isn't just one day. Okay. This has been going on my whole life. And I've been fighting against these oppressors my whole life. Okay, and they're just because most people don't care until it affects them, until you it's painful enough for you, it's you're not going to change. And so like I said, I've been walking the other way trying to say, oh, by the way, people, this is happening, and they're like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh, yeah, and they go back to what they're doing. But now this is affecting a lot of people. And again, until it gets painful for any of us and we reach the bottom of what we're capable of tolerating, only then can change happen. And the minute we do that, the universe steps in. But we have to stop contributing. Do not give it energy. We know it's happening. It's one thing to be informed, and then it's another thing to still be amazed that this is happening. Okay, the universe is at work here, guys, but we've got to do our part by making room for new things and holding each other up and supporting each other and resisting the darkness and who's bringing it. And so again, we cannot feed this. So how are we feeding it? That's what we have to ask ourselves. With our energy, because it only makes it stronger. Okay, are we feeding it with our money? So who is this? Like who are we investing our energies and money in? Okay, now I have to tell you, a lot of people don't even think to look up who is behind these mega businesses, mega whatever. I didn't even use the word mega. Okay, that's a word. Um, you know, the small business, the mom and pops, got replaced by these bigger corporations. Where the quality of the product went down, but the price went up. Okay, and this is capitalism. Okay, so again, capitalism, socialism, communism. Okay, in their pure form, they're all wonderful. But the problem is we've got a very unbalanced systems in these systems, and so the one that we work under has made it so impossible for people to um, move forward because somebody's not going to be making money off that. And so how are we contributing? Who and what are we contributing our resources to? And so we have to really start looking things up, educating ourselves. Again, even with education, this is why education is huge, but your school cannot teach you everything there is to know about life. And honestly, guys, when you're 10 or 11 years old, you're not paying attention in history, because how does this apply to me? It wasn't until I started traveling this country that I really got interested in history. Okay. And I started working in banking and dealing with different people and their problems. And I would look stuff up to find out what's the rule on this? Who's doing that? And that's when I started educating myself about things that were outside of my knowledge base. And again, we have to educate ourselves. There's no excuse for ignorance at this point. And so, ignorance is no excuse. That's an old saying. And so again, the universe is waiting for us to say enough, and I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to work at not contributing to these lower energies out here in this world, whether it's with our thoughts, our words, or our actions. And we're only going to focus on the things that are changing things, that are working at changing this, okay? So the universe is trying to guide us to each other. They're trying to guide us to situations and people that we can help. You guys don't have to start a nonprofit. Okay, there's enough social services, there's enough justice organizations, there's enough of this stuff, but they need us all to help them. Okay, whether it's with your money, your time, your resources, that we can contribute to the greater good that people are doing out there. You know, um, these places can't exist without our support because, you know, the government, okay, is going to do everything in its power to keep people from getting help. And so, or a voice. And so places like, um, places like social advocacy places, okay, that there's no funding for that, okay. Places that help people like Planned Parenthood or some of these other places, that provide health care or reproductive care, do not receive federal funding, okay? And so they only can exist by private donors and by people like me and you. This is why we pay for those services, or we contribute or donate when we go and have these services done, because we're helping keep it going. You can't just keep, that's the thing, is we can't just keep taking. We have to be reciprocal, like the universe. We have to, when we've taken, we need to return to, in that way, because that keeps that energy flow going. So you can't just keep taking and taking and taking. That's consumerism, just consuming, and there's no replenishment. So we're all being called to replenish when we've taken, because that's how we keep the reciprocal flow of the universe going. And once you understand that that's how the universe works, and are you a consumer or are you a contributor? Okay, so we do consume, but we contribute back. You take, and you replant. And so this is the reciprocality. This is what I talked about in that last video. So that's how the universe operates. But again, this has been going on the whole time. It's just now reached a fever pitch where it can't be ignored, and it's been allowed. See, it's been allowed, guys. People's apathy and their lack of community and lack of interaction, and there's been such divides when it comes to, the things that are told about, lies that have been told to separate us by dumb stuff like gender and race and um, culture and religion, and they're all the same. But somebody's keeping it separate because it's called divide and conquer. Okay, and so this is where we have to educate ourselves. But guys, you cannot contribute. The universe is asking you to just trust it and just do the next right thing. And if you don't know what to do, figure it out, look it up, and if you don't know any good sources, then reach out and ask me, ask somebody. But when you come together, we all learn a lot from each other. So you might have resources I don't have, and then I have resources you don't have, and so it's like networking. We're networking to connect all these wonderful people, ideas, and things together, because when one of us wins, we all win. And so we want to encourage and support each other as we're all navigating together to this place of solidarity and peace. So the universe can't stop humans from doing these things, but they can offer you suggestions. They can give you good ideas. But if we're not willing to take that first step into putting it into action, there's nothing they can do. So the minute we start just doing the right thing, magical stuff happens, guys. I'm not kidding. It generates a ripple. Okay, it generates a ripple, and again, fear is what people use to keep people separate. I have no fear. I really don't. I don't. I've seen more scary shit in this lifetime. Not only in my own situation, but standing in situations with other people, and I know there's divine purpose behind all of this. Even if it's not in my understanding today, I know that there is a diviner reason for it, and I still just stay focused on uh, you know working toward the light. I don't give the dark energy, guys. And there's one thing to keep people aware, but just so you know, most people are aware at this point. And if they're not, you can't awaken sleeping people. If people are in denial, it's going to change for them, guys, whether you are the town crier or not, okay? Enough people know what's going on, and I don't got time to wake up sleeping people. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to interact with them. I just hide them. Now, I don't block folks, okay? I hide them, okay? But I don't friend people that are, genuinely not, interested in what I have going on or who I am. And there's a lot of people who, there's a lot of nefarious, sneaky lurkers out there. But I'm just telling you guys, there's nothing to fear. And we've got to stop arguing with ignorant people. Okay, stop. They don't care. And again, it's going to affect them eventually. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not going to get so painful, but this is how awakening works, right? Everybody has a bottom. Okay, and you can stay in denial and you can pretend like it's not happening, but it's going to affect you, okay? And you will reach a bottom. So, like I said, we got bigger things to do. So, let's get into the spiritual understanding of that. I am empowered, I am divinely guided, and I am doing the truth is love, and I'm here to take the tools I have and hand them to other people, okay? And whatever our resources are, stop contributing to the problem. Okay? Don't give it energy. Just block these people. Hide these people. See, the thing is, I don't block people because I don't want to see their nonsense, but I want them to see my stuff. Okay? So I don't block them, I hide them. Unless they're spammers or unless they're, just completely awful, I don't want nothing to do with that. So I'll put a block on it. But I hide everything. And again, all this is being monitored, okay? They're trying to keep people separate. Now they're going to do it with technology. So this is why we have to come together in person. Now I know some of you guys aren't local to me, and my videos get seen by thousands of people, okay? So what I do is I upload them to YouTube. I put them on other platforms, but I'm not relying on these platforms to keep us connected, guys. So you've got to work it, writing people's phone numbers down. Get it. I still have a Rolodex. Okay. I have, and again, technology will fail sometimes. So having a paper backup is not a bad idea. So create an Excel spreadsheet and put your people's names, phone numbers, and stuff in there so that you have it in case all this stuff goes down. Some of these people are tech giants, okay? You don't think that they're using technology against the ignorant masses, okay? So I'm just, forewarned is forearmed, okay? So I'm just saying, have a paper backup, back up everything onto a terabyte hard drive, back everything up to the cloud, back everything up physically if you can. But again, we don't want to be left ignorant about things. I'm a gardener. I know how to can food. I'm not saying that this is Armageddon shit, okay? But I'm just saying that the more you know, and the less you are dependent on this human system, the more empowered you are. Right. There was a saying by an indigenous elder that said, you know, until the rivers are dry and the animals are gone and Mother Earth is destroyed, only then will man realize he cannot eat money. Right? So, a spiritual life is amazing. Fear is the enemy. Okay, I have faith. I have a sense of humor. I laugh at some of these people who take themselves so seriously. They think they're fooling me. They ain't fooling me. I know what you are. Okay, because I have experienced that in my own life and in myself. I've had to look at my shadow. I've had to look at my ego. I've had to look at, the things I did in my ignorance. Okay, so I'm not going to judge anybody for being ignorant, but I'm not going to also let them hurt anyone either with that. Okay, and I am a defender. I am an advocate. So, not on my watch. Now I have to tell you guys, when people have been oppressed for a while, you're so beat down sometimes, guys. You can't even speak. Like, you don't even have words to describe just all this emotion. So this is why we have to sometimes hold the energy and advocate while somebody tries to explain what's going on for them. You know, and again, sometimes we have to be the voice for others because they can't, and but we're not speaking out of turn. We're we're holding them up and defending them, because I have a voice. You can't bully me. You might have them beat down, but you sure as hell don't have me beat down. And so this is doing God's work, guys. It's standing in your faith and doing the next right thing, having integrity, clearly communicating. I'm not here to, sometimes people don't hear it in the nice language where you go, excuse me, could you stop doing that, please? Okay. Sometimes you got to speak it in their language so they understand. So you got to turn up that volume a little bit. Say, excuse me, this is not acceptable. Okay? And again, that's not a threat, that's a promise. Okay? So I'm just saying we have to use our energy and be confident to change these things in our own life. So, we gotta set boundaries, guys, to the things that are not of forward movement, peaceful uh, solutions. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And you can't keep contributing to the thing that's hurting people. I was watching people going to the Hobby Lobby. Okay, they're like, well, there's nowhere else to buy craft stuff. Bullshit. There's a lot of places that you can find craft stuff. Okay, and again, these people are financing these people that are decimating uh, our LGBTQ community. If you go to, there's a fun website, guys, to inform yourself. It's called Open Secrets. Open Secrets follows the money trail of who and what is contributing to who and what. Okay, somebody's feeding this, okay, and you're feeding it, okay, and you're like, well, I need craft shit. You know what? I need my LGBTQ brothers and sisters to be safe. Fuck Hobby Lobby, okay? That's where I'm at, okay? They're hurting my friends and family, okay? I wouldn't walk in there if I was on fire, okay? I'm just saying, that's where we have to get. See, this hasn't affected you and your family yet. It will. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There's a saying by this minister who lived in Germany, and it's called first they came. First they came for the press. Well, I wasn't part of the press, so, it didn't bother me. And then they came for, immigrants. Well, I wasn't an immigrant, so, it didn't really affect me. Okay? And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up for me. History repeats, whether it's in our own life or in our world. And again, we've been purposely misfed information, kept ignorant of history and the sins of colonization in this country. And we have to come together in solidarity and put an end to this. This is not okay. And again, I have no fear. I would rather go out a hero than to bow down to this. I'm just saying. And I don't mean going out in a hero like in a blaze of glory. I mean standing in my truth, standing on my feet and defending others. I would rather go in that way than to comply to some of this stuff. So I got you. We got each other. We got a village. I'm telling you guys are badass. I don't think you really realize how much. But again, we can't be afraid to leave our houses. We can't be afraid to connect with uh, diverse people, and learn about each other and learn to appreciate the beauty in that diversity. This is funny and not. I worked at a beauty shop when I was 12 years old. My mother purposely withheld information from me to teach me how to groom myself because she thought I was going to go out and be a whore. That's what she said. So I worked at a beauty shop. Do you know who taught me how to put on makeup and do my hair in 1973? Gay men. Gay men taught me how to put on makeup and do my hair, how to talk, how to walk. Oh my God, what a beautiful village I had. I really didn't appreciate it until I was an adult. You know, that was before you were allowed to be gay. The only place you could be gay is in a beauty shop or in a bar or under the shadows in the dark, And so that's who taught me how to do my hair and makeup were gay men. And they're probably all on the other side now. God bless them. But I'm just saying, guys, it takes a village. It takes a village. And a village saved my life. Not my village. The village I had coming up, that all these wonderful people that had nothing to do with me or my family or my, they showed me things that no one else could have. And they loved me in spite of me. And so that's why we have a responsibility to reciprocate that, to pay it forward. And so let's be a village. We are family, you know. It's a beautiful, diverse, wonderful family. And so I'm part of it, and you're part of it. And so let's do some really good things in this world. You know, people need support and help and love, and hope is one of the most amazing things to give another human being. They just instantly blossom. It's so wonderful to watch. Somebody who believes in you, who says, "You got this." That's all it takes sometimes, guys. Just letting somebody else know they're seen or loved. That's God's work. That's what Jesus would do. Okay? So whatever label you want to put on it, act like Jesus, act like Gandhi, act like Dr. Martin Luther King, act like Mother Teresa. Who are your heroes in this world? There's a lot of people who took up the spiritual life and changed the world. Most of them were assassinated. They paid the price, including Jesus. Okay, he's one of my heroes. I don't personally, I draw my spiritual stuff from lots of people that went before me. So just emulate it, guys. It's action. Action speaks so much louder than words. And I take a risk. I take a risk all the time to you know how hard it is to come up against the religious right as a person who is a medium and a psychic and hangs their shingle and does service work? You know how many times I've been condemned to hell? Like, I swear to God, I've got up against the best of them. And you know what? I'm doing God's work. I don't know about you all, but you know what? I know who I am, and I can put my head on my pillow at night in clear conscience. But I'm going to get more vocal, and I'm just letting you guys know that I'm going to be more vocal about some things. And so if people are spewing stupidity, I'm going to shut it down and turn it off, and we're just going to walk past them, step over them. We ain't got no time for that. There's bigger, better, funner, more wonderful work to do. So join me. I'm grateful for your support, and I've received a couple of really wonderful donations. Thank you so much. I'm going to start opening the village more often in the evenings so that you have a place to come and just hang out. I'll have class. I have the classes every Tuesday now, but I really need you guys to sit with this and commit to a spiritual life. And guess what? The universe just reciprocates. It comes right back to us. And again, less is more. Stop contributing. Stop contributing with your words, your thoughts, your energy, your money. Okay? And look at who you're feeding. Who are you contributing when you buy this or you invest in that? Again, some of it's necessary. Okay? There's necessary because they've cornered the market and we can only get it a certain way. But there is no reason why we have to buy all this shit on Amazon. Okay? Or pay for Prime or subscribe. Don't click on a goddamn thing on Facebook. Okay? Like, don't click on those ads. Marketplace, all those things. Every time you click on that, they got you. Somebody's getting paid. So, like I said, we just got to be more conscious. And so, looking things up, educate yourself. And if you don't know, ask. But don't just rely on the misinformation that you're fed. Seek out your own knowing. And if you need help, call me. So, news. I have the session special is still going on till the end of the month. It's $40 for a video session. These have been amazing, okay? Just getting a little guidance and insight from the other side and your ancestors and relatives. Oh my God, it's like, yep, I already knew that. I got that in my head and you're just confirming it for me. And then leading people to the right resources to kind of put that into, the universe in motion, and giving somebody a tool. This is empowering, guys. It's very empowering. So again, it's so nice to know who your stage crew is and who's helping you so that you don't keep blowing off that idea or blowing off that inner voice that's telling you, go do this, go do this. I know who my guides are. I know who your guides are. And so let's introduce you to your relatives and ancestors and start doing what you're told. It's so much easier if you just listen to the suggestions. And so sometimes you just need somebody to clear it up for you, and teach you how it works. The dream time, all these wonderful things that are tools that we can use to help connect us to that higher thing that loves us, that sent us here on this mission. Oh, we agreed to this, just so you know. So don't go blaming nobody, okay? I said, oh yeah, sign me up. What was I thinking? I didn't know I was going to have to be Batman. So thanks, guys, for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And keep in touch. I've got a lot of new things going on, but stay on my website. I'm currently updating it with all the new information and such. So let's see who's here to say hello. I'm so grateful you guys all came to hang out with me tonight. You know, I know this is a long one. So I will be uploading these to YouTube and then probably deleting them off Facebook, just so you know. So please, guys, I cannot monetize or get any residual income off my YouTube channel until I have 1,000 followers. So if all of you, you know, I've got almost 4,000 followers here. If you guys go over to YouTube and just in the search bar put Marianne Goldweber, subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe, then I can put a monetization on all of my videos. So when you click on them, I get paid for that. Wouldn't that be nice? And if you guys ever get anything out of these videos, this money always goes back into keeping the spaces open for people to come and do events, and for respite for people to just show up. But I can't keep this going without your contributions. So if you guys feel like you take anything away from these videos or the teachings that you receive from me on this level, just throw something on my Venmo. You know, it always goes to some good cause. I am like seriously scared to open up the utility bills. I've had to keep the storefront open and heated because it's so cold. And normally I wouldn't have the heat on all the time. And so, oh boy, I can't wait. So, yeah. So, you know, when you're self-employed, you don't qualify for a lot of things, just so you know. And again, what the government giveth, the government can taketh away. So the less dependent we are on these systems and the more independent we are and self-reliant, the less power they have over you, friend. Okay? So I love you, and it's all good. We're gonna do this, right? So keep me posted, and if there's anything else I can do, you let me know. Okay? Down my digits. All right, kids. You have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you soon. Take care.